Okay. So this is going to be an introduction to WordPress. This is going to be a short video, and it's pretty easy. I think a lot of ministry leaders, especially, feel like WordPress can be overwhelming, but I think once you kind of actually see it, it's pretty simple. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our login page. If you have a WordPress website, for example, with ClickMill, it's your domain /WordPress WP -admin. Okay, so WordPress admin is the login page by default on WordPress websites. And when you get there, you'll see username, login. I apparently am already logged in, so it just automatically took me into the back end of the website. So log in or create a user on the login page, and then you will show up here. Now, on the back end, you'll see a few things, and I'll tell you what's kind of normal and what's you won't have, but most of this is pretty normal. So Archie, this is something that is unique to our site. This is our what do I want to say? Our server. WP Engine is where our site is housed. This is something I added, so it's not something that you would really need to worry about if you had your own website. The dashboard, you customize yourself, and we're on the dashboard. You'll see it here. You really don't need to do anything with this. It just gives you a little bit of information about what's going on your website that, you don't really, there's nothing really important here. I spend exactly 0 time on this tab other than we're looking at it now. This is not really important Google Site Kit, not something you're really going to need to worry about. This is quite a bit more advanced, and you don't need it when you start. Posts is important. This is blog posts. So posts are different than pages. You'll see pages down here. A post is a blog post that is intended to show up on Google to answer a question like, for example, how to start and run a ministry 2024. That's a blog post. It answers questions and it generates traffic into your website. So these are blogs. We'll work on those at some point in the future. Down here is pages. These are website pages like home, about, contact, sign up, like whatever it is. And pages are intended to get either sales, subscriptions, free signups. They're intended generally to get someone to take action. And so that is the difference between a page and a post. A post generally provides information, and a page generally is going to be looking for some kind of sign up. It could be a sales page of some kind, for example. So those are posts and pages. When you come into either posts or pages, it's very uniform. All you have to do to add a new one is click Add New, and then it is going to take you into what that looks like. Now, you can see here, there are a couple ways to edit things. If you're in a post, quick edit, we'll start here. Well, obviously, you can view the post, and I'll just show you that real quick here. If we view, and this will take you, and then as you can see, we've got our table of contents. This is just what it looks like. This is the post on the front end of the website. And so that's view. That's what that feature does. Trash, we don't want to hit that for obvious reasons. Quick edit. This allows you to just make basic edits in here. And what we were discussing earlier, Archie, is we want to make as many mistakes as we can because we're going to learn from them. And the one mistake we want to avoid is changing the URL. So I said, if you make a mistake, rule 1 is don't panic. And rule 2 is don't change a URL. And this is a URL. So the slug would be clickmill.co /how-to-run-a-ministry. And so if we actually look at this article, and if I come back here to view again, you'll see up here, how to run a ministry. And we don't want to change that because Google knows where that is. If I change it, that blog is just going to disappear from Google's perspective and nobody on the internet will find it. And there's a whole bunch of bad stuff that happens. So that is one of the very few things we want to avoid is changing those links. And there's like one very small exception to that we'll get into later. Anyway, so trash, quick edit. We can change some other things here, publish date. If you write it, obviously, we want to make sure you get your credit for writing any articles. Categories, you can change. This is a Christian strategic article on how to run a ministry. We have comments enabled. It's published. So just some basic settings in there. and then edit. If we edit it, this actually takes you into the back end of the blog with all of the settings. And this is something you'll be doing training on in the AI, content creation training on how to post an article. That's one of the ones I have assigned for you because it works the same way in what you'll be working on. So you can see there's some settings. It's really not too complicated once you get into it, but we're not going to get too far into this right now. So that is how you can edit posts. And then we come down pages. This is essentially identical. So add a new page up here, and then you can edit the page on the back end just like I showed you. Quick edit, just like I showed you. Trash, just like we probably won't be doing. View it. And then over here, edit with Elementor. This is our web design tool. And so this is the only difference in the pages is you can actually go and drag and drop elements and move things around. So the edit is more like settings for the page on the back end, and edit with Elementor is going to be the design tool for the look and feel, and if it shows up on mobile, right? And Elementor is the web design plugin that we use at ClickMill with ourselves and all of our clients. It seems to work really well. And anyway, so that is Elementor. We'll get into training on that later, and you'll be able to get into that. Now, media, this is standard in WordPress. Media is going to be pictures. So you just, add a new file. And when you go ahead to select the file, it's really straightforward. You just select your file and then, click upload. And so you can see here, we're adding a lot of files to our courses. This is something we're getting moving here fairly rapidly, which is what you're going to oversee, Archie. And if you want to edit any information within one of these images, for example, this one, I just uploaded this right before we got on our call. What you can do is just say, the digital ministry. That is the title of the book. And I'll probably take that down as the caption as well. And it's saved. And there we go. That's pretty much what you do to edit. There are a couple other settings in there, but basically I never use them, so it's not really that important. Coming here to comments. The comments are just what you would think. They're comments of what people are saying on the blogs or in the lessons on our courses. And you can see right here, Larry Steven here is engaged in a heated debate with some people in our Calvinism versus Arminianism blog, which is a Christian philosophy. So you can see we've got comments coming in here. And so kind of fun to watch that play out. Elementor, this is you won't really need to do anything in here, but this is our web design tool. Templates are all of our templated pages. So when you go into Elementor and you design a page, you can just save that design. And then instead of redesigning every single time, you can just apply the template. So we'll get into that at some point, but that's the basics of that. MemberPress and MemberPress downloads is our backend course software, which is where you're going to be specializing first. And that's what we're going to get into today. And then appearances, you're never really going to have to know anything about this. This is just how to change the menu at the top. Maybe at some point you'll get into it, but home, about, services, internship, book a call, that's in the menu. And then some other really specific things that you really only set up once when you kind of get into websites. Plugins, this is where you add extensions to the website. So this would be basically like apps. If you want to add whatever app to your phone, you go to the app market. This is basically the app market for WordPress, and it allows you to extend your site to do custom things. Okay, so if we go to plugins, I'll show you that very briefly. I'll show you some of the different things we've got on here. This is a spam protection. I actually don't know what that is, so that's interesting. Elementor, our web design tool. This is an image optimizer, so the images load faster. This is how we track people coming in and out of the website. So there's different things. This MemberPress, so this is a plugin, and this is what we're going to be using to build those courses. So that's plugins, and all you have to do to add a plugin says add new plugin, and you can go browse the plugin store. Some are free, some are paid, just varies. Users, this is obviously just where you add users. Tools, let me see here. yeah, various settings that are pretty technical, and you really won't need to get into these for any reason. Same thing with settings. This is where we set a lot of our page speed. This is where we set our banners through the blogs and different things. So tools, settings, this is our SEO tool, and this I'm going to have to get rid of because someone was in our website making some changes on some course stuff. I had a developer and I don't think they removed the stuff they use. So these are really irrelevant. And that's pretty much WordPress in a nutshell. It's pretty easy. And yep, it can go, it can always get more complicated. You can always learn more. But I mean, if you know how to do posts, pages, respond to comments, and in our case, this isn't the case with most websites, but make some courses, like you're doing pretty well. And so we're going to be getting into those things in future weeks.